Can you guys hear me? Okay, perfect. How's everyone? Long, tired? How was your day? Very long, tiring? We'll keep it engaging, guys, huh? Otherwise, it's going to get boring. How was your day? Good, long, tiring, what? Good, okay, perfect, perfect. So, I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Kunal. The mantra that actually changed my career is something that I've actually quoted Mr. Peter Drucker's quote. The day when I started realizing that the result of a business is a satisfied customer, and the day when I started applying those things while writing my code, while thinking about how do I create a wow experience for the customer, was the day when my career started getting transformed. I'd like to park this thought in your minds, because as developers, it's very easy to just have a narrow focus and just look at the work and figure out on how do I complete that work and not look at that end picture. But wowing that customer, if you think about that, I think that's going to transform your career. I've been part of building a lot of teams in a lot of companies. My career spans about 15 plus years, with more than 10 plus years in building high performance teams in India, Europe, and the US. I started with a startup and then moved on to working in an enterprise. Again, got into a startup, had a good exit from that startup, and then and this was all in the US when India pulled me back, basically back in 2020, late 2020s. Since then, I've been, in 2021, I started my journey at Magicpin, and we'll talk more about it. I'm very, very passionate about building highly scalable distributed systems. I've worked on a lot of MLOps, APM, cloud monitoring pieces. I've built products on that. I also happen to experiment with my life a little bit. So one day I just thought of leaving everything and starting an energy bar company. It failed miserably. So that didn't work out. But one thing that taught me was, again, that quote that I was saying, right? Like, the result of a business is a satisfied customer. So that journey of building an energy bar company and seeing how the products are being liked, disliked by the customer was a journey in itself for me. How many of you all know about Magicpin? Have you all used Magicpin? Can I get a sense of it? Okay. And I believe most of you all would probably know it from the days of when the bill gets uploaded and then you get points and then you get wowed and then, there's discounts and stuff. So we've come a long way since then. The mission of Magicpin is to bring every local business in your neighborhood online. And how do we do that? We digitize the catalog, the merchants themselves. We show the merchants, we enable discovery on those merchants. So in your local neighborhood, which are the merchants which are selling interesting stuff? What's the inventory in their shops like and stuff? So we have data for everything. And to gamify this a bit more on that, what we've also started was providing savings to the customers, right? So it's the loop that you create of how do you engage your customers and how do you drive commerce. If you think about it, India is largely a offline retail economy still. It's not a digital retail economy. More than 90% of retail happens offline, and that is what Magicpin stood for. We understand that the lifeblood of Indian economy is offline retail, and that's why what do we do things to actually get these merchants online, the local merchants online, is what we focused on. Our reach has been, we have more than 10 million plus registered users. We are active in 50 plus cities in India with more than 250K merchants across different categories, right? So we are known for food, we are known for offline, but we are also very popular in fashion. We do pharmacy, we do D2C, it's all there. That's why we call it a super app. So you can do a lot of things on Magicpin. We are definitely funded by some of the top VCs out there in the market, and we'll talk more towards the end as to what we are doing. Have you all heard about ONDC? Has anyone heard about ONDC over here? Okay, perfect. So I guess there are still some people who do not know what ONDC is. Can someone tell me the full form of ONDC? Exactly. Good. Now, for a moment, I'll just talk about ONDC because I still believe there are some people not knowing about ONDC over here. So back in the COVID times, right, if you see, there were these big players, and I would not like to name companies over here, but the big players, both in every sector, be it retail, be it food delivery, they were all doing very well because they were digitized, they were online. But who suffered was the local merchants. The local merchants in your neighborhood, they had to shut their shops, they were not able to sell online. That's when the founders of UPI, they realized, like, why is that so? Is there a different way to think about e-commerce in India? And that's when this concept of open network for digital commerce arose. Now, the entire concept works on three principles: decentralization, interoperability, and it's decentralization, interoperability, and unbundling of the network. Now, what does all these three mean? I'll give an example. So let's say I'm sitting in my house and I want a tennis racket. Now, normally what people do is go to their favorite sites online and just look at the tennis rackets and buy directly from there. But there is a very high chance that that same tennis racket at the same price or even cheaper is being sold in your local neighborhood stores. But what you see what the problem is, because there was no discoverability of the local merchants, you couldn't even find out that who's selling what in your local neighborhoods. ONDC is actually here to solve exactly that problem. The entire concept of ONDC, when we started reading about it in Magicpin, and that was back in, so I've been associated with ONDC for quite some time, even back when I was like in 2021. But when we started looking at it in Magicpin, we realized that, hey, this is a match made in heaven for us, because we are about local businesses and ONDC is doing exactly the same thing of getting the local businesses online. In December, we actually had one intern just working on our ONDC strategy. So we just said, like, okay, let's wait and watch, let's see how it goes. And that intern started developing things. He started reading the protocol. He built the APIs and stuff. Come May, April-May timeframe, actually come March, the government approaches us like, okay, we want to make it big, let's talk and stuff. March, April is when we collaborate with Paytm on ONDC. And I still remember the first week of March is when we hit almost 10,000 transactions per day. And since then, week over week, we've been just scaling up like crazy. The entire, if you look at the ONDC play over here, and I call it a play because there are different characters in this story. So there is a buyer app, there is a seller app, and there is a logistics app. So these are the three different characters. Magicpin is actually involved in all of these three characters. We are a seller app, we are a buyer app, and now we are also getting into the logistics area. Now, as a seller app, we've partnered with a lot of these companies, right? Like in food delivery, we have all the big brands that you know. In pharmacy, we are actually getting wellness pharmacy, Guardian and stuff online on the ONDC network. In grocery, we have Star Bazaar, Star Quick now on the network. So big brands coming from Magicpin as a seller app. Magicpin as a buyer app is also driving a lot of transactions on the network, so much so that currently most of the transactions on the network is somewhere associated with Magicpin. Interestingly, what we also realized was while we were building the buyer app experiences, we figured out, hey, there is an interesting business model emerging out of it. Why not? So since we've solved the buying experience on ONDC, can we expose this technology stack to other companies, other enterprises? That's when we came up with this idea of ONDC in a box. That's a SaaS business that we created in Magicpin, which is right now serving Paytm and Ola in Bangalore. So if you open your Paytm app right now and search for food delivery or ONDC or scroll down on the Paytm app, the experience that you will find, that's all powered by Magicpin on Magicpin servers. The entire transaction happens on Magicpin. So we are getting a lot of traffic. We are getting a lot of scale, and ours is just a 40 people tech company. So of course there are non-tech people, but we are a 40 people tech team doing a lot of heavy lifting right now, preparing ourselves for a very, very high scale. We have a lot of customers lined up on our SaaS platform now, and you will probably hear us more in the news in the coming few days. How is MongoDB doing all these things for us, right? So MongoDB is powering our catalog business. Currently, all of our merchant data, all of our SKUs, which are more than 600 million SKUs, it's all sitting in MongoDB Atlas. We have, for our SaaS platform, our session cache, our carts, our order management system, that's all built on top of Mongo Atlas. We do a lot of catalog enrichment as well. So if you are, for example, Haldiram is, like you have, let's say, Haldiram and you have KFC or Burger King for that matter. Now, Haldiram is not known for burgers, but KFC is known for burgers. So how do you enrich the data and have this affinity towards brands for a particular product? We have models for that, and that model generates data which goes into Mongo, and we use Mongo Atlas internally to sort of feed that data into our tools as well. Do people know about this flash sale that happened about a month back around tomatoes? At that time, the tomato price had skyrocketed to around 180, 190 rupees. Do you all remember? Is it still fresh in your mind? So interestingly, what happened was, at that time, Magicpin, so the government of India approached ONDC, which in turn approached Magicpin to sell tomatoes online. And that too at a throwaway cost. So we were selling, while the outside market was selling tomatoes at 180 rupees kg, we were selling around 120 rupees for 2 kgs. So, or even 100 rupees for 2 kgs. The day when we launched it on our website, our app crashed, basically. Within few seconds, we were doing more than 10 tons of transaction. So 10 tons of tomatoes getting sold. We used to start at 9 a.m. and within 9:01, we used to finish off the entire inventory that we had assigned for that day. We did that for almost 10-15 days, and every single day, of course, we didn't crash every day. That was the first day that we crashed and we improved. But then it was such an experience for us, seeing the power of ONDC and what it can really, really change in the Indian economy. Again, our orders, our catalog, our cart was being served through Atlas over here. So how did we start our journey with Atlas? I still remember that time when it was a Saturday evening. I was having time with my family, enjoying with my family, and I get an alert on my laptop, on my mobile that your Mongo, we used to use open source Mongo at that time, that your Mongo primary is down. I said, okay, like we have the replica set, so there will the other primary, you will have another primary come up. That's okay, but something happened at that time. Our other primary didn't come up. Now, we got on a call, we realized that the other primary was in a recovery mode. And it was, we didn't have enough people in the call, enough expertise about Mongo of how to recover a database in the recovery mode. When we started looking deep into it, we realized that the ops log replication that happens using ops log, that had been corrupted, and the primary which was supposed to start, that's why it was in the recovery mode. We had an outage for about 35-40 minutes. We had to start another VM, get the new primary loaded with all the data, and it was a nightmare for us because it was a peak traffic time, Saturday, Sunday for us, and doing all these things in the outage was a nightmare. That's when we realized, okay, there has to be a better solution. We cannot afford to have all the expertise, the DB expertise within the team, because my team focuses on creating businesses, building applications. That's when we started using MongoDB Atlas. We realized that the operations effort, the scaling part, it's seamless, high availability, the monitoring and alerting, super good. And our life has become much more easier now, if you ask me. This is our tech stack that we use in the company. We use a polyglot of technologies over here, and you see that MongoDB highlighted right in the middle. By the way, we are also hiring, so in case if anyone is looking out for a change, reach out to me. You can find me, I'll show you my LinkedIn profile. You can find me over there, and thank you so much.